That's arrogance. That's conceit and arrogance.
Hard Rock Lunchbox.
All right, what is up, everybody? How's everybody doing on today's Thursday? It's time for another Hard Rock Lunchbox. I'm going to adjust my microphone or the headphones. If you're a fan at all of the top 20, I will apologize for the top 20 today. Yeah, man, just totally boned it, as they say in the industry. Actually, I don't know what they say in the industry, but I'm going to assume that's what they say in the industry. That's what I'm going to say in this industry, because that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, technical malfunctions as F yesterday, or last week. I have a program that records this show, because I can, but I need a whole other device to record the Hard Rock Lunchbox and the top 20 out of the system that I have, because it can't record in the same system that I'm using. So I could record into my Mac, which is right there. I could record into my office computer right there, but it's a little more difficult than that to do those things. So generally speaking, what I do is I actually have a computer that listens to the show and just records it off of that, like as if one of you were recording and listening, or listening and recording the show. And every now and then that one just completely shits the bed, and that's fine. Technology's not perfect. I don't exactly have the most demanding, although albeit quite uppity audience. They tend to, okay, you miss one. Most of my audience tends to be live, it seems. Although I do have hundreds of downloads every week of the box, I still think my live amount is still more than that. But I have not checked in with management here at the station in years. That could be completely different. My point is that most people that would complain listen to the show live, so it doesn't matter anyway. But the fact of the matter is the Hard Rock Lunchbox did not record the audio at all, and therefore it did not record the top 20. And funny enough, last week I think I told you I was using a new camera setup, which I am still using. Hello. And the audio on that was garbage. Completely didn't work. In fact, actually, as I'm looking at it right now, it looks like this audio might even be a little hot. So I'm going to play it on the safe side and just turn that down a wee bit and see what happens. And I don't know, man. I'm not interested in just totally screwing this thing up again. It was already too much work as it was, and now I don't need it becoming an additional too much work, because that would just be bananas. I'm going to apologize in advance. I am remarkably underslept. I know I am sort of famous in my own head for sleep issues and stuff like that, because I'm a big believer, like the problem with like sleep is that you can have like one bad night's sleep, and like we've all had that, and the day sucks and you kind of make up for it. I have a real problem when it comes to those, because I tend to have them in batches, and I'm not special. A lot of people have this, right? I'm just talking about my own existence. I have them in batches. So if I don't sleep well one night, like I have a lot of trouble. Like I don't build in a lot of catch-up time in my life currently. So if I sleep badly 2 nights in a row, now I'm really in trouble, because then I start stressing it, and that makes me sleep even worse. Just all that other stuff. By the way, can we talk about how completely ghetto and awful my backdrop looks? I realize when you buy something and you pay $11 for it, you get exactly $11 worth of stuff. Unlike the Hard Rock Lunchbox, which is free, and you absolutely get more than free. But it looks so bad. But I don't know what to do here. I'm trying to make the whole set look better, but the reality is I'm not on a set. I'm in my goddamn basement, and I, run 2 businesses out of here, three businesses out of here, and I have just stuff all over the place. What I really should do is I should run it down to my studio, because at least that looks like a studio. But to be perfectly honest, that studio has been mainly studio storage for years. Although I could make it look kind of cool because it does have a lot of equipment on it. But the reality is I just don't have anything that looks like I should be in a recording studio. I look like I'm basically in a basement. So I can look like I'm being held captive by terrorists, or I can put up this sheet and look completely ghetto. So I'm going to go ghetto for a little while. Maybe I'll go back to the Hard Rock Lunchbox banner. I don't really know, but I just want you to know the reason that's up is because I'm trying to do something a little bit better to make it look a little bit better for the top 20. But if you're listening to the Hard Rock Lunchbox, then all you really need to know is everything looks really great behind me, and you should be like super supportive. How about that? So anyway, I'm pretty sure it's recording this week. I went up and I made sure it was recording early. Now, anything could happen, and anything usually does happen while the show's going on. And I have found out where the volume on this recorder is to make sure that I'm not peaking out. So it looks like I'm doing okay. I mean, I might peak out from time to time, but that's a sacrifice that I'm willing to make, to quote Lord Farquaad. But yeah, I am really, really underslept. And as any fan of the box knows, when that's the case, I'm just a little slow on the up. So I'm pretty sure I'm broadcasting live. It looks like I'm broadcasting live, according to anybody in the chat here on 99WNRR.com, which is, of course, where we stream live every Thursday. But if I start making less sense than normal or rambling on more than normal, that's probably why. I'm not hopefully currently having a stroke, and we'll just kind of figure that out, and we'll go forward from there. So there's a lot. I have a lot of things I was thinking about talking about, but I really wasn't able to formulate. I wasn't able to formulate anything. Clearly, I wasn't able to formulate a real plan. So I figured I would just do a couple of things. Oh, we should basically do some stuff. So right. So yeah, so if you watch the top 20 today, you'll actually see a super secret message from me because there was no actual top 20. So I recorded a special top 20 that's more like a top 3, demonstrating the new set, the camera, and all that other stuff. So if you want to check that out and give it a like. I think it'll be cool because it's like only like 3 minutes long, and if it gets like the most views and the most likes, that'll certainly send a message. So that might be funny. Also, the full interview with Matt from Title Holder is up on Bacon is My Podcast, and Tom from Hungo Braggers is the 7 questions this week. So that would have come out last night. So be sure and check that out. Also, upcoming shows, as you might know, next week is Rebel 9, Something Heavy, and Craving Strange. We're going to the Village Pub on Saturday for the first, what I would consider to be the first Sandbox show of the year, or basically since the return of live performances from COVID. So I'm super excited about that. I hope everybody else is, because that really is a big thing behind it. I mean, like, Something Heavy hasn't really played out since before COVID, but both Craving and Rebel 9 have, but we just have not been able to put it together to put a show with both of us on there. And that's, aside from the fun that we have doing it and the reason we think that those are important shows, a lot of it is because of the audience. Like, we try and give the audience as much of a ticket as possible for their $10. So I don't know how to do much better than that in the current state of things. And also, if you're following local music and stuff, you'll see that I Ignite is going to be playing with Patent Pending. That's a good show at the end of April. And Sweet Tooth will be playing at One Eye Jack's the Friday. That's a week from tomorrow. That'll be the day before our show at the Village Pub, which I think timing is a little weird, and I think that blows, but they believe me when I tell you they didn't ask me at all. So they didn't ask anybody. They didn't ask any of the Sandbox bands, so they're just going it alone. So I wish them the best of luck in everything they're doing and all that other stuff. And that'll be that. So yeah, they're at One Eye Jack's on Friday. We're at the Village Pub on Saturday. Rebel 9 will also be at Stereo Garden in Patchogue on April 1st. We do have tickets. You can message me for them. We're offering some ticket deals if you want. But yeah, so that's about it for stuff that's coming up. We're also looking to schedule the Barnum Ballroom show in Island Park, mainly because Kaz and Nadala are locals to that area, and they want to have a big local show, and I'm cool with that. So I have not heard back from Dave Black or Dave Black Promotions on any of that, and I've messaged him twice. So my super sensitivities just makes me feel very persona non grata, so I don't know that I've done something wrong, but honestly, who knows? If I have, I will let you know. I don't know what to tell you. I will say the teaser video for Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap has come out from Music Emporium, Music Mall. And I swear to God, I got so deflated. I wish I actually got deflated. I got so deflated when I saw it, because I just cannot believe just like how much heavier I keep getting. Like I just can't. I started doing the food trackers again and stuff like that. Like I'm averaging between 16 and 1700 calories a day, like, and light exercise and being up for, like, I can't figure it out. Like all the tests I keep taking keep coming back negative. So I'm trying to embrace just like being a future fat person, and that's just what I'm going to be, and like just being that guy and being happy about it. But I just can't. It shocks my system every time I see it. So that was disappointing. But the teaser video is out. The After Hours review will be releasing some sort of promo based on all those videos. I don't know. I didn't ask a lot of questions about it, so I don't really know too much about it. But I will keep you posted. And then we are in the process of doing some more, at least lyric videos. We've got like a concert video kind of in the works and stuff like that. So we're trying to do some of that. And there's been talk about recording for Revel 9 towards the end of 2022. So that's basically all band information I have in a nutshell. So I just want to take a quick second before I get into this Ukraine thing. So yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about Ukraine, but I'm going to talk about I did not watch the State of the Union. I am not a big State of the Union guy. Like it's literally a commercial. Like I don't care. Like I'm much more about like how things are, like kind of on the ground, like in my pocket. Like it really annoyed me that it was like almost $4 for gas the other day. Like that sucks. I understand why that is, because I not only understand basic economics, I'm not an economist at all, but I do turn to economists when I need that kind of information, but I don't feel like I'm at that level right now. But I do realize that there's a lot of inflation. I have a lot of ideas as to why that inflation is there, and a lot of that has been fueled by, I don't know, reading stuff from like Forbes, the Wall Street Journal, and listening to like actual economists. And as always, like I encourage everybody that I ever talk to, like run it by the common sense test. Like, does this make sense to you? Does it make sense to you? Like, yeah. Okay. So does it? Yeah. Then it does. If it doesn't, then no. You should probably dig a little deeper. So one of the things, aside from the abhorrent behavior of a couple of Republican congresswomen, which is just, it's so disgusting, like the level of bipartisanship, or not partisanship, that is going on both sides. Like seriously, like people that just hated Trump because he was Trump, and people that hate Biden because he's Biden, or people that hate Biden because he's not Trump. I mean, it's really just ridiculous. It's not even partisanship at that point. It's like idol worship. Like, dude, are we really pitting like these two morons against each other? Like, who gives a shit? Like, as much as I make fun of people for like having favorite football teams and baseball teams and hockey teams and being like, it's different. Sorry, not for having them, but for just like championing them. Like seriously, like if you are a New England Patriot, you should really be like really concerned about how the New England Patriots are doing. If you're not, then you're just a fan. You really need to shut up. Like it doesn't matter. Like it's stupid to think that way. Like, and you should be interested in stuff is that's in your best interest, and this idol worship really needs to like we really need to get rid of it. Like it really has to stop. Like and honestly, like I implore anybody like to the left of me, like if you're just hating Trump because he's Trump and you don't like him, like don't like him, but don't like hate policies and stuff just because they're his. That's stupid. And I would encourage everybody on the right to do the exact same thing. Like it just, there's and I've had that argument before. Like there's enough reasons to not like policies like completely on their own. Like I was having this conversation about like the economy, because that was a big part of the fallout, all right, of the State of the Union, about how the economy is doing. Like anybody that's anywhere knows that prices are going up because that's inflation, and that's how inflation works. It's actually like prices are inflated. It's kind of like in the word. Like it's super easy for even the dumbest of us to understand, right? But one of the things about inflation that's important to recognize is that there are usually factors that cause inflation, and those factors are you're usually able to mitigate those. And one of the reasons that we're having such bad inflation right now is actually kind of funny, because we pumped so much money into the pockets of people that actually do the spending, which are the poor and the middle class. Like rich people, they do some spending, but it's not a big percentage of their spending. It's really the middle class and the poor that do the most spending, right? So they're buying, goods and services and stuff like that. So and the net of rich people is usually like money makes money, so they have just as much coming in as going out. But that's a whole other economics lecture. So they pump so much money in with the extra unemployment income, the unemployment assistance, and then of course the COVID checks and stuff like that, and then the child care credit. They pumped so much money that people now had money to spend, which of course was the point, right? We're trying to jumpstart the economy after the economy all but crashed, and so we gave people money. Now, unfortunately, when you're just pulling money out of thin air, what you end up doing is you end up devaluing the dollar or whatever your currency is, and that's fine. You don't need to really know that, but you can understand, like, if you're printing more of stuff or making more of stuff, the value of that stuff becomes less, and that's true with promissory notes. It's true with oil. It's true with diamonds, stuff like that. So that's one thing, but also because we gave everybody the ability to start buying stuff immediately after the economy crashed, there wasn't enough stuff to buy. Don't forget, the world basically stopped making stuff, right? We stopped making stuff, we stopped moving stuff, we stopped stocking stuff, we stopped selling stuff. So all of a sudden, like the day after, like everybody got all their money and the economy kicked back on, everyone was like, I want to drive 100 miles to my favorite steakhouse and get a piece of meat and stuff like that. And like, dude, none of those things are available because everything really stopped working, right? So what happens then is that the value of those things goes up because we don't have enough gas. We haven't refined enough gas. It's going to take a little bit of time to do those things. And most reasonable people understand that. Like, you don't want the price of gas to keep going up. Stop driving so frigging much. Stop all these trucker convoys to Washington, D.C. and Ottawa. You guys are losers anyway. But just, like, stop wasting the gas. Stop spending the gas. There'll be more gas. Like, these are basic principles, right? So I just put up something yesterday because I was in just such a foul mood, and I just put it up because I wanted to, I didn't really want to argue, but I really wanted to just be like, stop being idiots, right? And not that it matters what I say, but like, I kind of formalized like why I even bother arguing on social media anymore. And to be fair, like, I actually owe it to Robbie from Vavavoom, who I argue with from time to time. He's one of a handful of people who, like, we kind of see eye to eye on everything, but like we just go about doing things in a different way. And I thought it was just kind of poignant, so I just kind of wanted to read. Holy shit! I just kind of wanted to read what I had. So basically, I was giving an economics lecture yesterday. I was explaining how net profit works, and I was also explaining how companies like Amazon, ExxonMobil, and McDonald's are making record profits. Yes, as sales go up and as cost goes up and, AR goes up, you'll make more profits, but I was talking about the profit percentage, because making more money, it's not a problem. Like, if you sell something, if something costs $90 and you sell it for $100, you make $10. That's fine. If that thing costs $10, if that thing now costs $100 and you sell it for $110, you're making $10. Like, I understand. Like, that's fine. I have no problem with that. But what's happening is that these big corporations are charging more for things because costs are more. That's true. But they're charging even more, so their profit, their margins, their percentages go up. And that's a cash grab, and that's bad, because basically what they're doing is they're gouging people on costs, and they're turning around and being like, there's inflation. Inflation doesn't explain stuff. Inflation explains stuff like why things cost more money, but they don't explain stuff why companies are making a bigger profit percentage. Like, you can't go from 10% profit percentage to 20% profit percentage on inflation. That's not how inflation works. That's lying. That's bad corporate business. And that's the kind of stuff that I was calling something out on. So that long-ass intro, unfortunately, prompted this kind of information. Because I said to Robbie, he was like, well, what did Robbie say? Robbie said, I ain't calling on anyone out. We're all navigating a global web of WTF, but it'll level soon. It always does. We'll all be okay. And I said to Robbie, well, maybe you should be, like, referring to calling people out. Ignorance isn't exactly helping, so call people out on it. So this is where I harden my formulation here. He says, DJ, I offer information. I don't need to call people out. And this is my reasoning. He says, some people just don't have the internal RAM to understand certain topics. What's simple for you may be complex for others. That's true. 2, I honestly believe most people lean support what they think is right for them, their family, and others. I don't think anyone is malicious at heart. They want what's best. They just see it differently. Now, that's not true. There are lots of people that are absolutely malicious at heart. And there's whole studies of sociology about people that do things in not their best interest because they don't know any better. If you read a book, What's the Matter with Kansas, or the problem, no, it's What's the Matter with Kansas, it'll show you why Kansas almost went bankrupt voting for, what was that dude's name? Sam something. He became a senator, and they basically bankrupted Kansas because they did all this privatization, and they were like banning social services and stuff, and they voted against their own interests because God told them to do it, which is never ever a good reason. Ask anybody from the Crusades, they'll tell you. But then he also says, he's like, I forget what it's called, but from what I recall, 9 out of 10 times you will not change somebody's mind by preaching to them, especially on social media. What you do is actually push them to double down on their initial stance despite any arguments presented. In short, you can't change people's minds. Now that is absolutely true, and if you don't believe me, you can check out the Adam Ruins Everything episode on it. When you have a hard, fast held belief, anybody challenging that will only make you double down on those beliefs. Like I've talked about that here on this show, and I want to be quite clear. I am very rarely ever trying to change a true believer's thing. I am sometimes I'm kind of mean-spirited, and sometimes I'll try and make fun of them or shame them for being stupid because I feel superior that way, and I'm human, and I can be a dick, and I'm sorry about that. I don't do it. I never do it out of the gate. I only do it when I get pushed back upon, because when somebody's challenging something that I'm saying is accurate with their own accuracy, all bets are off, and I will definitely lay you out intellectually if I have to. So what I said to Robbie is this. That's all true, but letting people say stuff that's factually incorrect as a response to truths you speak empowers them to carry on, and here's the point, and gives others pause to wonder why you haven't corrected them. And that's a line I'm not interested in allowing. I'm not necessarily trying to change anyone's belief here, but I am willing to highlight their ignorance for the benefit of others that are watching and forming their own beliefs. That is the, quote, fight I'm interested in. The public debate for the public, not the true believers that just love to spout off whatever they've currently learned, and I air quote, learned at OAN or on a bumper sticker. And honestly, that right there, I'm going to give myself an applause, because that's true. I am nobody's messiah. I am nobody's point of contact for things. I will have people message me from time to time asking for some clarification on something that they don't understand. I don't always have the answers. If it's something that I've researched or read about and have processed through my own internal filters of understanding, then yeah, man, I can kind of do that sometimes, but not always. And that's fine. Like, I don't always have the answer. I won't always have the answer, and I won't always have the right answer. I'll just give you what I'm thinking based on what I've read and what I've understood to be true. However, when I do those kind of things, and people that don't do those things, or have not read those things, or have not understood those things, or have not done that research, and are interested, honestly, in the topic of economics and why inflation is so, going up, and why inflation is better than recession, as anybody will tell you that lived through the banking crisis, inflation is way better than recession. It took us years to get out of that housing market bubble that burst. Years. We are out of we are out of the COVID recession. We're out of it. It hasn't even been a year, and we're out of it. But now we've got inflation. Now we've got to deal with it. But I would rather have inflation than recession. And I know that because I've done research. I've lived through it before. And I can understand a very simple concept like Economics 101. I just can't. So if somebody else is having trouble doing that, then I would like to speak to that. And I would like to speak for them and give them information. And social media is a way to reach social people during that. So if you ever see me challenge somebody just because they're being an idiot, it's not that I'm trying to change their minds. I don't care. It's because I like to argue. It makes me feel better when I'm actually intellectually arguing with somebody that has a different opinion of mine. But also, there's a lot to be said for what can be gained and gleaned by watching a conversation like that. It's why we have presidential debates. Let them talk. Let people talk. You say what you say. I'll say what I say. If I make you look like an idiot, then maybe you should crack a book open or watch a different news source from time to time. It's not my fault if you're stupid. It never is. And I'll be the first person to tell you that if you have trouble with that concept and you are mad that you are stupid, you can take it out on your parents for sure, your schooling, maybe your genetics, not genetics, that's your parents, your diet, all those things. But it's not my fault that you're stupid. There are exactly my son and daughter. My stepson's on. It wouldn't be my fault if he was stupid. I mean, unless I made him stupid, but I didn't drop him on his head or anything. That dude's in Jamaica right now, so obviously he's doing something right. But I have exactly 2 people that can blame me for being stupid, and they happen to be 2 of the smartest people I've ever met in my entire life. So I'm going to give myself an A+ and another goddamn applause. We are now 17 hours into this 2-hour show. I had a lot to say about Ukraine. I even pulled some clips, but I guess I'm going to just play those mid-show. In the meantime, since it was the State of the Union, maybe we need to hear a little State of the Union. I realize it's not the greatest segue, but let's see you do it on your radio show. See, that's arrogance. That's conceit and arrogance. That's disgusting. Shame on me.